All right, folks, here we go. Okay. All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Stephanie Singer, and I am an ANJEE board member. Also with me today is ANJEE co-president Erin Rounds, and we are excited that you're with us today for our workshop, Teaching Energy Efficiency and Environmental Sustainability in the Classroom, as part of ANJEE's 38th Annual Winter Conference. Special thank you to our conference sponsors, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, an anonymous donor who is a friend of science and environmental education, and the Institute for Natural History Arts. We'd also like to thank our keynote sponsor, Nigerian Associates, our award sponsor, Duke Farms, and BASF for supporting our field experiences. We are placing the link to our YouTube channel in the chat room, where you can see all of our recorded content from past conferences and from forums and other sponsored events. And we hope you subscribe to ANJEE's YouTube channel. So Erin will be doing that soon. Just a few reminders for this session. We ask that everyone please keep themselves on mute throughout the presentation. And if you do have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat room. There'll be time for live questions toward the end of the presentation, or you can raise your hand. You can use the hand raising icon, and we will let you ask your questions, or just go through the chat room as well. So today we have with us Francesca Arato and Kelly Stone from the Alliance to Save Energy and Catrambone Elementary, and they are our presenters today. We will learn how to educate students about energy efficiency with the free pre-K through 12 Empowered Schools program, an Alliance to Save Energy initiative. The program covers important topics such as addressing New Jersey climate standards and environmental justice, and it saves energy in schools and prepares students to become ambassadors for energy conservation in the classroom and at home. So without further ado, ladies, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today. We are very excited that you decided to participate in this workshop. As we were just mentioning, anyway, my name is Francesca. I work for the Alliance to Save Energy. And the Alliance to Save Energy is a non-profit organization that was founded in 1977 with the aim of promoting energy efficiency. We think that energy, efficiency is the best resource that we have. And so we spread this work worldwide with the aim of achieving a cleaner environment, healthier economy, and energy security. Within the Alliance to Save Energy, the education team implements the Empower Schools program that teaches children, pre-K through 12th grade students, about energy efficiency through project-based curriculum. The Alliance to Save Energy really believes that students have the power to create a culture of energy efficiency in their schools and in their communities. We believe that in K through 12 educational facilities, student engagement is key to accessing behavior-based energy savings. So with this program, the Empower Schools program, students become ambassadors for energy conservation in the classroom and at home. The program is fully funded by New Jersey utilities, and for this reason is totally free for schools. All the resources are totally free. The program is divided into grade bands, so it's all age appropriate. We have a program for pre-K through 12 grades, one for 3rd through 5th, 6th through 8th, and 9th through 12th grade. The goal of the program is to really engage students with STEM activities. We provide them with the tools and resources that they need to collect data, analyze data, do actual change in their classrooms and in the school so that they can really see the results of all their efforts. Another goal, very important, of the program is student leadership. we ask the students not only to do, their activities, but to spread the word outside their classroom with the whole school and the staff members of the school, in their families, to really create an impact outside the school, and so that exactly they feel empowered, spread the word of all this amazing work that they're doing. And also we let them think about their future and how they can really create a better world in the future, maybe by choosing an environmental green career. The program can be formed in many different ways. It's very, very flexible. It could be a green club. It could be implemented in a classrooms. It could be a before or after school programs. It's all up to the teacher that decides to implement it. Once the teacher has chosen the methodology, how they want to implement it, then they can attend 3 trainings throughout the years. We provide these trainings, and also a stipend for the teacher, because this is a little way to thank the teacher for the amazing work that they do throughout the year. Without them, all of this would be impossible. So we're really grateful. At the same time, students receive some free apparel, t-shirts or capes for the younger kids. And they love it. Once they put this apparel on, they really feel that they are, the empowered team with a mission to save energy in their school and outside their school. On top of that, we also send some toolkits, a toolkit with different tools that you can see here. We have tools that measure light, temperature, watts, water consumption. All these tools will allow students to collect data and do real change in the school. In fact, schools in general save between 5 and 15% of electricity, of energy, in their school by doing the program. These are just some of the activities that we provide to teachers and students. As you can see, they vary between what is sustainability, what is energy. Let's speak about climate, about environmental justice, green careers. So this is just to give you an idea of the things that students will learn throughout the program. On top of the tools that I just showed you, all the other resources are inside a web platform. As you can see, the web platform is very, very, user-friendly. You have, on top all the teacher resources, for example, like video tutorials that teachers can use to, learn how to navigate the platform and how to use the program. Then underneath, both students and the teacher can see all the different lessons in these green tiles. Each lesson has the same exact structure to make it easy. Students will first watch 10-minute video. After watching the video, they can take a quiz so that they can test what they've just learned. The quiz is auto-scored and it gives immediate feedback to the students so that they know if they answer correctly. Underneath, you see all the different activities, and teachers can see what each student have done, the work they have completed. As you can see, each activity has material that students can download, and step-by-step instructions on how to do the activity. Then we ask the students afterwards to describe their individual role, and also to describe what they did as a whole team, the students, what they did as a whole team. And afterwards, we ask to update a picture if they can, and if they have permission. So with the Empower School programs, we really aim at making the life easy for teachers by putting everything in this one-stop shop in this website and this toolkit. All the activities are, pre-designed with flexibility in mind, so the teachers can adopt them and, change them as if they feel they fit better the needs of their students. All the activities are aligned to New Jersey academic standards. And as I was mentioning before, quizzes are auto-scored, all the resources are ready to go. And for students, of course, this is a great opportunity to explore new things, to use tools that maybe they've never used before, and to really learn new skills. It's also very exciting for the students to be part of the program because all those schools in New Jersey, they compete in a statewide competition, so that at the end, the school with more points wins a prize. And I tell you, this is a big motivator for the students. Throughout the school year, myself and other members at the Alliance to Save Energy are always available to assist teachers for anything that they may need, any assistance. But now I know another thing that I want to say is that I told you that the program is free, and it is, and it has limited spots available. There are still some spots available, so please, if you're interested, these are my contact information. I will also put them in the chat together with the application, if in case you're interested to join the program, or if you know of someone that might be interested to join this year or also next year. Now I will hand it over to Kelly Stone. Kelly, she's an Empower team leader, and she's also the recipient of the 2022 Guiding Star Award that recognizes the contribution of outstanding educator implementing the Empower Schools program. Kelly will have, practical examples of the Empower Schools program in her classroom. So thank you so much, Kelly. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm going to walk through the program and the different benchmarks that are done, or lessons they're called now, for the Empowered program. So just give me 1 minute to share my screen here. And you're also going to see some of the videos that we've completed over the years. This is a compilation of many years that we've been involved in the program. Obviously, it can't all be for this year because we haven't completed it yet for this year. So the George L. Catrambone School, is in Long Branch, New Jersey. It was built in 2014, so we are a fairly new school. We house kindergarten through 5th grade students with approximately 730 students currently enrolled in the school. We're a mid-sized district, but over 75% of our students are on free and reduced lunch here. The Empower School team program can be run in any capacity, like Francesca alluded to in the beginning. Here at GLC, we run it as an after-school club for our students. So these kids meet after school once a week for about an hour and a half to work on the different lessons and projects of the year. It engages students beyond just the 4 walls of your classroom and your building, but it connects them to their families and the community and beyond. Like I said, we meet as an after-school program, but it looks different at each school. You can incorporate it within your homeroom at a frequency that meets your needs, or as an enhancement to any of your content areas. We have used the program as a lunch bunch type club for students that were interested. But like I said, currently we're an after-school program. We have 24 students, and to join, it's usually students that are interested in joining the program. They fill out an application, almost like a job interview, that talks about why they are interested and what they are going to look forward to do with the program, and things like that. And there are some students that don't know what the program is about, and that's okay too, but they're inquisitive and would like to start learning about it. So these students start meeting in October, and the program runs through the end of May or the first week of June. So the whole part of the Empowered Schools program is to make connections, have engagement for the students, and to create change. These students become change makers both in their classrooms, the school, and throughout the community. And they really do a good job, and they're excited to do it. There are many lessons. I believe there are 9 total, but within those 9 benchmark lessons, there are many activities that engage students and get them thinking beyond typical things that you would discuss in a classroom. It's very creative, it's very engaging. There's a lot of critical thinking and problem solving that is expressed throughout these modules. And the students really have a great time exploring, learning about, and sharing the message that they have learned. So I have our short introduction video for the year, and this is really how the program begins. Our students get together and film different segments of a presentation that's shared with faculty in the building to get classes engaged in the contest that happens later on in the year and give them a brief introduction about what we're going to do for the year. So I'm going to play this. If you can't hear it, please let me know. It should be okay.
Hi everybody, my name is Davi.
And we're the GLC Empower team.
We're here today to show you how to save energy in your classroom.
But first, did you know that saving energy saves both the environment and money? Most of our electricity is made by burning fossil fuels like coal and natural gas. If we use less energy, we can stop pollution and help the people and our environment.
This year, our goal is to reduce energy waste by 10% so we can reduce our carbon footprint and save money for our school.
Our goals as the Empowered team are to understand energy efficiency and reduce energy waste. So how can we save energy at school?
The biggest energy hogs are lighting, HVAC, which stands for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and appliances.
The easiest ways to save energy are lighting, turning off the lights when we leave the room, which is also called last out, lights out, closing doors and windows, which have HVAC is on, and turning off appliances and setting computers to sleep mode.
The majority of classrooms are overlit, which can hurt your eyes and make it hard to learn. The Empowered team will use their energy tools to see if your class can turn off one light switch to reach the perfect lighting level. This is called right lighting. Since lights use a lot of energy in a classroom, last out, lights out is one of the easiest ways to save the most energy and money at school. Remember to always turn off the lights. Assign a student to be a light monitor.
When the HVAC is on, make sure to close the doors and windows so the warm air and cold air doesn't escape.
For appliances, you can turn off monitors and set computers to sleep mode. Also, you can turn off or unplug appliances at the end of the day, or plug them into a power strip and turn the power strip off.
The Empowered team will conduct an energy audit of your classroom to show you exactly what can be done to save the most energy.
If you save the most, your class will win a prize.
Please help us for signing our Empowered School Pledge. Remember the 4 things to help us save energy. Close windows and doors. Unplug appliances.
Last out, lights out.
Computers on sleep mode.
Thank you.
Let's start saving the environment.
So you can see from the video, it really gives students a voice, whether they're talking in front of other people or creating a video or presenting something to other students in the classroom. It allows them to get their messages heard by others. And for some of our students, they're really shy and it's a struggle for them. So it has creative opportunities for them to express themselves, not only through video and presentation, but posters and other activities that you're going to learn more about as we go through.
Hi everybody, my name is Davi.
So in the first lesson that we do, it's called Energy Basics, and the students get a really good idea of energy, how it's used, and ways it's used in schools, and also ways they can start saving energy and reducing their consumption. They make announcements for morning announcements, not frequently, once or twice, maybe 3 times during the year, to get people involved in the program and encourage students to join and teachers to join the contest that happens during the year. They also bring ideas home to their families to get them involved in the program as well, and for students to start sharing what they're learning about in the classroom with their family members and hopefully the outside community as well. It encourages them to sign up for energy saving kits, which are free cost for families, and it's part of the program. They can log in, complete some information, and their energy savings kit comes home in the mail with different things to help them in their households. We create poster presentations right away about something that they've learned about that they want to spread as a message to other students in the building. One of their favorite ones is Last Out, Lights Out. It's a very popular poster. Lots of students make it, but some of them go with the closing of windows and doors when HVAC is on. Some of them talk about water consumption and ways they can reduce, and really anything. It's their idea here. Their creativity shines. And they have the opportunity to express themselves how they want to. The next thing is our custodial pledge that we participate in, and this is all part of that first lesson. So they meet with our head custodian and talk to him about what they're doing, why they're here, and ways that possibly he could help out in the building to conserve energy as well. I'm not going to play the whole video, but you'll hear part of it and just get an idea. We'll give it another second in case we're having technical difficulties here. All right, we could possibly come back to that one at the end if we have time. I'm not sure why it's not working. I apologize. From that first lesson, where students kind of get that basic knowledge, our next step is to learning about climate and climate change. We look at their carbon footprint, and it's a really great online tool that students can log in, and they're answering simple questions, not what you would expect in a carbon footprint study, but really geared on what the kids are doing, what their families are doing, and broken down into levels that they understand and can complete. So they answer questions. It probably takes about 20 minutes to answer all the questions, and they end up with these graphs at the end that show them their carbon footprint compared to the United States and the rest of the world. And they see where they fit in. And it was no surprise to many of us that the majority of students have a larger carbon footprint than the global average. So then we take this study, these results, and they compare them to the global averages, and they look for ways that they can reduce their carbon footprint at home. Simple ways from maybe choosing one day not to eat meat, to turning lights off when they leave rooms, not leaving things plugged in for long periods of time after they finish charging. They talk about maybe reducing the amount of time they're on video games, which is a really hard decision for 3rd to 5th graders to make. Getting outside to play more to increase it, possibly walking to a local grocery store as opposed to driving, encouraging more locally sourced food, like shopping at a farmer's market that's available in the summertime in our town, things like that. They talk about all of these options of ways to reduce their emissions and how they can create a greener world for themselves. In addition to that, they get to track their carbon footprint over a week-long journal. This journal is available digitally to every student, but not all of our kids have access to internet at home. So we put it on paper, and the kids track things like what they ate for each meal of the day. They look at how much meat was involved in it versus vegetable, dairy, and grains. And later this information is taken from this book and put into the spreadsheet at school. They talk about their transportation, how they get to and from school, if they've driven anywhere else during the week, how many times they went shopping, how much entertainment they had at home, from computer usage to television usage, washing machines, air conditioning, dishwashers, lights. It goes through everything, and you'll see oftentimes the students can't complete every area because they're just not sure. But most of it comes back completed. We then put it into the chart, and it shows them where they can start making saving changes at home to decrease their carbon footprint, and with their family's help, live a more sustainable life in their own homes. This third lesson, the energy audit, is one of the students' favorite lessons that we do as part of the Empowered program. They get to use these great tools that are given to you from the program. We were lucky enough to order a couple more for the students, so we have multiple tools for them to use as they audit classrooms around the building. So from the video you saw in the beginning, teachers sign up to participate in the program, and this is where that comes into play. The students will walk around with tools like the thermometer that you see them using here in this picture to measure the temperature in classrooms, to talk about whether it's too warm or too cold, whether the temperature changes during the day. And they take these readings and record it on sheets to get all that data together. And they look at the average over the building. They really do take ownership in what they're doing and look for ways to make changes in the building. So if they go into a classroom and they see that it's over 73 degrees or under 68 degrees, it rings a bell of alarm for them, and they talk about why this one is such a outside liar for the rest of the data. And we talk about that, and they can bring this message then back to the custodians or school administration to talk about classrooms being different, or maybe teachers feeling too cold or students feeling too cold in the classroom during the day, too warm, to then maybe reduce the energy consumption or adjust the temperature to a better setting for the students and staff. The next part after the temperature is these great light meters. They measure the foot candle, the light usage in a classroom. Our students know that the classroom should be between 30 and 50 foot candles for optimal learning in that environment. It keeps it from being overlit, which causes students to lose focus, possibly have headaches, and they really love this part. The light meter is a great tool. It's sensitive though. They know that they have to set it up and back away from it to get a proper reading. They record the information. They take measurements with one light switch on, one off, both on, both off. They switch it to find out what the best situation for lighting is in the classroom, and they can make recommendations to the teacher. Now, because of this, and not for only this reason, our district was lucky enough to receive a grant for changing all of the lighting in the school district to LED. And when they did this, the facilities directors spoke with our students and asked them about the lighting in the classroom, and they were able to tell her that it should be between 30 and 50 foot candles. And when all this lighting was being set up, that was a focus for the district. So again, just another opportunity for their voices to be heard and make a difference outside of just their classrooms. They're impacting other things in the community and the whole school district. So that was really exciting for them. They got to see the installation of these LED lights. They had conversations with the workers that were putting them in and the electricians that were there with them. And it was really a great learning experience while they were engaged in this project with the Empowered program. So it just connected them to, first of all, a green career that's maybe outside of what they thought was a possibility, and also to seeing those changes happen as a result of what they're working on in the classroom. This is where we test the wattage of appliances around the classroom. So you see them here testing a pencil sharpener. We hook it up to a watt meter, which is also included in the kit, and they plug it in. They plug the pencil sharpener in, and they can see on the watt meter. In most cases, most pencil sharpeners will register 0 when they're not in use, and then they put a pencil in and see how the wattage increases and talk about that energy usage. We plug other appliances in, like the computer. We plug them in when they're in sleep mode versus turned off, turned on and in use. Same thing for radios in the classroom, projectors, and anything else that is able to be plugged in. From this, they make suggestions to teachers about unplugging things for the weekend or shutting down power strips for the weekend to get rid of that excess wattage that's being used that doesn't need to be. We talk about phantom load at this time and how when things are plugged in like cell phone chargers, they could still be using wattage and it's not charging or doing anything. So they really get a kick out of this. It usually happens around Halloween time. So it connects nicely with a vampire load, and the kids have a great time thinking of things that could possibly carry that vampire or phantom load that they could unplug when it's not in use. They then, and I'll go back just to finish this up, they then compile all that data and produce a school-wide energy audit, and that helps them on their journey for completing each one of these lessons. Another great part of the program, and I'll talk more about it at the end, is every time you do one of these activities in each of the lessons, you are awarded a certain amount of points for what the kids submit. And if your students are really into the competitive nature or the competitive side of this program, they track, and every week they're asking where we are on the leaderboard, how many points we have, what do we need to do next, who's catching up to us, who's ahead of us, and it drives a lot of their instruction. Now, I've also had groups that are not competitive at all and could not be bothered with the leaderboard. They're just happy to do the activity. So you have to kind of get a read for your group, how it's going and where they are and what they're bringing to the program. And it can go either way. You can follow with the leaderboard and continue it, or you can just complete the activities, still uploading the information and participating in the program, but maybe they're not worried about the competitive side of it. Like I said, I've had groups that are both ways. This year's group is very competitive. Last year's group was moderately competitive, and the year before were not competitive at all, and they didn't want to participate in the competition side of the program, but they still enjoyed doing all of these lessons and activities. So one of the next lessons we do is Green Your Career, and we learn about different green careers that they could have in their futures. Also about careers that maybe people already have in their family or careers they know about and how they could make them a greener career or a more sustainable career. Because it's not about just learning about those specific green careers, but taking each one of the careers that are available or that they possibly dream of doing in the future and how they can make that more sustainable. So whether it's a home lesson or an in-school lesson, the students research these green careers and they create a presentation about one that they chose or one that they could see themselves doing in the future. This is one from the past. It was a third grader who did this one. His father happens to be a sanitation worker in the city, and he admires that role and thought it would be great to help the community through that. Oh, I don't think I'll be able to play that one, but he talks on about how it's important for the sanitation workers to pick up the garbage from the city as well as recycling to help the environment and keep it cleaner. He even went further to say that the sanitation workers could be responsible for cleaning up litter that's in the streets and things like that. The student under that is now in middle school, but when she was here, she wanted to be a veterinarian and work with endangered animals and help protect them and find safer homes for them and better habitats for them. So the range of green opportunities they have is great. You get famous soccer players that kids that want to be famous soccer players that are advocating for a greener stadium or a better way to host soccer games that reduce energy consumption and maybe don't serve the fast food options that require more processing and things like that. So their creativity really takes this lesson in many different directions, and they're able to present to their classmates, peers, and sometimes we can go further into opportunities to present in front of the school or administrators in the building. It's been done in a variety of ways, and the kids love every part of this one. This environmental justice lesson is a newer one and one that really has become popular in our building here. Students learn about environmental justice leaders in the field, both adults and students, and they look for one that speaks to them. So we do some research about different activists in the world, not just in the United States, but far beyond. This little girl is from Nairobi, and she is the youngest climate activist in Africa. She's 11 years old currently, but started when she was 6, and she's planted over 1.3 million trees in different schools, hotels, and other settings in Africa. And this spoke to 2 of our students, and they really worked hard to complete a biography about her, that's now hanging on a bulletin board for others to see. They look up quotes. They learn a lot of things that they typically wouldn't do in a classroom outside a setting like this. They got to do additional research. They were able to take it home. They looked up important information about her. It's funny, when they do a biography, the typical reports that we found talked about a birthday and a date of death. And I would say 99% of the people that they picked are still alive because they picked students like them. So it was very confusing for them to figure out what to write on that died line of the biography. But many of them wrote still alive or still working hard or something like that. And they had a lot of fun putting these together. We printed pictures of the individuals they chose. They created kind of a headshot for the top of their biography. You'll see a couple more in a minute. Put down some important facts. They were able to find a quote of something they said, and it really connected them to them and brought them far outside of what they're doing here at school into seeing what the rest of the world does and how students that are their age can make such a huge difference in the world. This is part of the bulletin board, and you can see some of the heads they've created, and some of those people might look a little familiar to you and some not. They picked ones that are well known around the world, and they've also picked ones that maybe people haven't heard of. We had a range of ages from the 11-year-old you just saw from Nairobi to people that have been in environmental justice for 50 years. So it was a nice round display of activists that spoke to our students. And from there, they compared themselves to what those roles were, that they're, yes, activists around the world that are doing global things, but they're making just as much of an impact here in their classroom, in our school, in their community, at home with their families. So we put their faces together with some of those climate activists, and the kids helped to make a bulletin board that showed off some of the people they learned about, as well as the work that they're doing here at school. I think they were really excited to have their pictures hanging in the hallway, although some were a little shy about it, just to show that they have that active role in making change, being a change maker in the world, making a difference, and standing up for the things that they believe in. The Energy Patrol Contest, we haven't started it here at GLC, but it's coming up in the next couple of weeks. During this time, students get to take what they've learned from that energy audit, and now they're walking around to different classrooms to monitor to make sure that teachers are following through with our ideas for how we're going to reduce energy consumption in the building. So one of the first thing is checking lighting, that they're turning the lights off if they leave the room for the day or leave the room for a period of time. They also check to make sure windows and doors are closed when AC and heat are on, that computers are shut down, especially before the weekends, appliances are unplugged. They got creative with how to do it since the pandemic. They haven't really wanted too many kids in and out of different classrooms other than their own. I think it's kind of changed a little bit this year, but our kids came up with a way the doors all have windows on them. So instead of going into classrooms when teachers aren't there or when we're just walking in the hallways, they're looking through the windows of the classroom doors. You need to be as creative as you can with this. Sometimes you can't do it at the end of the day. Sometimes it has to be done midday or early in the morning. So the kids will come up with unique ways to complete the energy patrol and track the contest here to figure out who the winner is. We've really never done a winner and done the prize portion of it. It's more been about the making sure that people are doing the right thing, and if not, that they're taking that message back to their homerooms and reminding their peers and their teacher, don't forget, we got to close the lights when you're leaving the room, or why is the window open? The air conditioning is on, something like that, just encouraging those good behaviors that have created so much change in our building. Watts and water is one of the next lessons that we go through in the program. And it talks a lot about water conservation, but also about how to make changes in the building from things that could possibly be going wrong that many aren't aware of, like a leaky faucet. While it might be a leaky faucet in the part of a school that you don't use as frequently, or it's happening in a bathroom where teachers are not in to see it and the students notice it, they're taking those measurements of water flow, how much water comes out of the tap for a certain period of time, and figuring out if it could be less to decrease the amount of water being used to wash hands. This was especially important since the pandemic because there's been a lot more hand washing and an increase of time that students are washing their hands. Encouraged to do a full wash. However you encourage it. We do the happy birthday song 2 times in my classroom, but counting to 20 seconds. As long as they're scrubbing, the water is running more frequently. And even with the sensors, it's a lot more water use than there used to be. So looking at ways that they could reduce the amount of pressure coming out of the faucet. Again, this is a message they could take back to somebody in your building, like administration or the custodian. Maybe it doesn't change anything right away, but with the same message going back and forth over and over again, you never know when a change could happen, and they could see some of their results changing in the school to make it a better place. They also create these posters that they can hang around the school. They frequently put them by our water bottle refilling stations, in the bathrooms, but anywhere in the hallway to remind kids that water conservation is important in the building. During the pandemic, we had great opportunities to meet virtually with many places, and with the Watson Water Unit, we got to meet with the National Parks for New Jersey, and this.
Please excuse the interruption. Can I ask Sophia to the main office for dismissal, please?
Sorry, I'm still at school, so there's occasional interruptions. So we have a trip to Patterson Great Falls, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away from us, but the kids got to see how the waterfalls turned into electricity and how they used to use it to power plants that were local to this area. It's still being used today, but for different reasons. But to meet with people that are part of this program and to see it in action and take the ideas of what they're learning about and connect it to what's really happening in the community around them is a great experience. They had tons of questions for the leaders of the program and about waterfalls in general and how they were able to produce energy to fuel or to power things. This leads into the next lesson, which is on exploring renewables. We talk about renewable energy resources, what are renewable versus non-renewable. They do research on them. We look into where a document where you can find how much renewable energy your city is or town is using for utilities. So they can see a lot that's going on close to home. And we expand this program, and I don't know if you can see it in the background next to the snowman here. They build their own powered homes. So they talk about what type of renewable resource they're going to use to fuel that home. They create these homes. They build them out of recycled materials. They use tinfoil for solar panels. They've built wind turbines with other recyclables, trash, waste that they've saved and used for projects. And they've created these homes, and then they videotape messages about them and why they created them the way they did. So it just kind of takes what's already in the program and expands it to the next level for them. At this time, they met with the solar company for our school district, and they talked about how they tracked the solar energy being consumed by the solar panels or collected by the solar panels to help power the school. Our school, because it was built after the solar panels were installed, does not have solar yet, but the other schools that do have it, they were able to see how much kilowattage was in the system size, how much was collected. They talked about how a single solar panel was the size of a cell phone, which really resonated with our students, and how much energy it collected from the sun. So it was a great experience for them to connect what they see on our middle school, high school, and some of the elementary schools to what it's actually doing for the building. They also met with the Atlantic wind farms in Atlantic City, and she talked them through how much energy those wind farms are producing. There's actually a video of her, and she climbed up to the top of the wind turbine, and the kids were amazed by that. They really had a great time learning about this, and it even went into the sanitation of water and how that's collected through this and cleaned and reused in the community. So another great connection to so many resources just from these lessons. This is when they were putting together their renewable homes, and I'll try to play the video so you can just kind of hear what they're talking about as they're building.
Look at the TV I made.
I need it.
So they found that they didn't think they'd have enough energy to fuel all their entertainment things with just the solar, so they added a wind turbine to the top. This was a group of 5th grade students, but I think I said before, we have 3rd through 5th grade in this program, and they all kind of group themselves with friends and siblings, but they create these homes and then they're able to present about them using our creative workstation, which is the filming and the video production that they have a couple classrooms down from mine. And the kids were able to put these all together and work through it and talk through it and create these presentations that they shared with their families. It was a really great experience for them. The next lesson that we go into is understanding energy demands, and it goes into peaker plants and learning how certain times of the day is more demanding for energy uses than others. We talk about doing things in different times of the day to conserve some of that energy, and how if we use too much, we have to expand into these peaker plants, and how that ends up changing the bill and energy usage for their families. And it's more expensive to use appliances during those times. So they start labeling appliances that at this point, reminding teachers to turn their carts off or to charge them at certain times of the day versus others. First thing in the morning is a better shot than the middle of the day. And they bring this message back home to their families about plugging their cell phones in at night to charge them as opposed to during the middle of the day, running washing machines and dishwashers in the evening hours as opposed to afternoon hours. It's a quick unit, but one that they do get a lot from. Before the final presentation, there's one more unit, and I didn't have a lot of pictures of it, but it's the Amelia airflow unit, and they follow this air particle, Amelia, as she's inside the workings of an HVAC system, and she has a mission to get through this HVAC system, and they learn kind of how air travels through a building and heat rises and cool air sinks and how that's exchanged through ventilation. And then they get to build this model city that's given to them in like a workbook type setting. And they just show the different needs for HVAC in this model city that they create. There are two videos here. This is from our first year with the program, and they talk about the energy consumption, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit so you can see that part about how much energy they saved. They haven't saved as much yearly since then because we've made changes in the district that have contributed to energy savings, but this was the start of their journey and one that made a huge difference and kind of led them down this path. So let me just fast forward it.
Remember when Mrs. Degman and Mr. Vecchio came here and showed us how much money we saved?
Phew, we saved 11.9% of our electricity used last year.
Wow, that's a lot of money we could use here at our school.
We have really done a lot this year to save energy. We got to tell all the families in Auburn how to save energy at the Green Fair. Some of us went to ocean fun days at Sandy Hook.
That's amazing!
So I'll stop there. It's quite a long video, but this is their one from this year. But you can see 11.9% of the district's utility cost for electricity was a huge difference. And that was by these simple behavioral changes that students were promoting throughout the building. This is this year's. We can watch a couple seconds of this.
You gotta fight for your right.
Change the world!
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours. This is how you change the world. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
Our team at GLC knows what it takes to change the world. This year we worked as a team to motivate our whole school to make the behavior changes to reduce our energy consumption. From last our lights out to shutting windows and doors and turning off appliances, we have become the change makers we need to make a difference. We learned about water conservation and renewable versus non-renewable resources.
We even build our own model homes to maximize energy savings. We present to our teachers and peers and even made some videos. We've got what it takes to make a difference. Just like the famous youth activists we learned about in our environmental justice learnings. We have calculated our carbon footprints and we are taking the climate change on a small step at a time.
One of my favorite parts of being in PowerSafe was learning on how to change the world and how to make it a better place for everyone.
My favorite part about PowerSafe is
So the video goes on and they just talk about the differences they've made during the year and why it was important to them and what changes they can then take home with them. So really the point of the program is to empower students to change these mindsets, change simple behaviors to make a difference, engage students in global issues in a safe and positive environment. Like I said, we did save 11.9% in our first year and influence our district to switch to LED lights. We were not the only influence and can't claim responsibility for that, but they listened to the students and that made a difference for our kids. They suggested, like I said before, that the lights be set at 30 to 50 foot candles when they changed them to the LED program. They share their messages with the community through their families and other community events, and they really have empowered themselves and other students in the building to become change makers. So I'm going to stop sharing now and turn it back over to Francesca and Angie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly, for this great presentation. Really, to see the kids in action is always like very inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing these pictures and videos. We really, really appreciate it. I see, Derek, your comment in the chat, you know, about you know, yes, the children do understand ventilation better than, you know, many adults, as you were saying, but it is true, like these videos that, you know, Kelly was speaking about before really are very engaging. They can explain these concepts that are, you know, maybe more difficult to understand in a very easy and accessible way. So this is the whole point of the Empower Schools program, to make it easy to implement for the teachers with the resources that are provided, and also for the students to actually implement to do all the different activities. Yeah, and are there any, yeah, there is a question, or this is more for Stephanie, the last question.
Last question. I'm not seeing
Okay, it's if it's possible to share the recording of these teachers in my children's school. Yeah.
Oh yes. So I'm gonna also ask Kelly, and I'm not Elizabeth, if you want to come off of mute to ask your question. I'm not sure if you're referring to the entire presentation itself that's here, because it is being recorded today. And in a couple of weeks or so, it will be on the YouTube channel for free, and you'll be able to just view it as many times as you'd like. But are you referring to the specific videos, the montages that the students made?
No, I was referring to this this conference. So it's wonderful if it's going to be made available.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's being recorded this entire time, and I believe that Beth, our administrator, would be able to send everyone who attended and our members the notice of when it's going to be posted on YouTube. Okay, I have a question actually. The Empowered Schools Initiative, is it specifically for, and I apologize if you had mentioned this already, is it specifically for New Jersey schools, or is this happening in other states?
That's a great question. The program is available in more states. We don't cover all the United States, but it's also found in other states. For example, in New York, in Alabama, there are funders that they cover more states throughout the United States. In New Jersey, I have to say it's a lot of participation, so it's we really love to work in New Jersey as well as in all the other states. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Awesome. Great to know that New Jersey is on board, and we got our act together on this. All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Awesome. And the activities, I know it goes from pre-K, starting at pre-K. What kinds of activities are done at the pre-K level?
Yeah, so at pre-K, the activities, that's also another good question. If from 3rd through 12th grade, you see students can access the platform, the website, they can log into the website and do all the activities. For pre-K through 2nd grade, the program is slightly different. We don't ask the students to access the website, but for the teachers is very similar. It's always, they can access the resources through the website, and from there, they are able to print different kind of materials that they can do in the classrooms with the students. The topics are similar. So we cover the same topics, but they're more age appropriate. It's a lot of hands-on activities, also discussions in the classroom, and also videos and songs as well to really engage them and get them excited as well to do the program.
That's great. And if they're anything like what all of the amazing things that Kelly just showed us, I'm sure that they're just as equally enthusiastic and excited to take the next step as they move up the grade levels. It's astounding and wonderful just to see how much they could do. And the fact that they've got a voice within this program, I'm sure keeps them focused on it for years beyond. So thank you both so much. This has been such a wonderful presentation. And with that, I don't see any more questions, so we'll close it out. So thank you so much to Kelly and Francesca. We appreciate your time here today. This was such a wonderful presentation. And a few reminders before we close out of this session. I have posted the evaluation link in the chat. So please feel free to fill that in at your leisure. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see any presentations that you weren't able to attend live. And thanks again to the conference sponsors, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, our anonymous donor, and the Institute for Natural History Arts. Thank you. And with that, our conference has concluded. Thank you so much for being here today. And we hope to see you at some of our field experiences that are happening this weekend. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.